joining beginning of the class. Coming after that, he left. What happened, Dorivaldo?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Huh?
I'm here. I'm
Pardon?
here.
Okay, okay. But
Yes,
last class,
Dorival is
last
here.
2 days, last two class, I saw that in the middle, maybe after 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you left the class. Any
I
reason?
left the
Network?
class. I think it was an a mistake. I think because I
Okay,
thought the class was over.
okay,
So,
okay,
I
okay,
didn't see, sorry.
okay. Okay, we'll start a class. Okay, 9 o'clock. 7 members join. So last class we had start discussed about vehicle mechanism. Vehicle mechanism, because as I already told that it is in a very important part. So we should know, because whenever we are going for whether that is as a hybrid electrical vehicle or as a pure electrical vehicle, there is a need of calculating the tractive force. The tractive force is nothing but whatever may be the uh, propulsion power we have developed through the drive train, it is transferred to the wheels. So when we transfer it to the wheels, so how much it is the resistance that is having contact, okay, on the earth, that is only helping us to suppose if we are having, that is purely depends on the nature of the road, whether soft or hard, or having a sufficient grip, etc. So a lot of parameters that is deciding. So that we have decided already. So whatever may be the attractive force, okay, that is applied on the particular vehicle, that is purely depends on the so many factors. So what is the power delivered by the propulsion unit, road condition, of course the aerodynamics of the vehicle, and the composite mass of the vehicle also. So in which we have identified that there are four different resistance, resistance or force which is acting against the particular tractive force. When the vehicle in uphill motion, when the vehicle is tend to move in the hills, okay, upward, okay, uphill motion. So when the downhill motion, there is a one force which is called, which is helping the tractive force, that is called gradient resistance. So we assumed the motion equation or the dynamic equation based on the uphill movement only. So automatically here the gradient resistance will be positive only. That is nothing but it is acting against the tractive force. So when the vehicle in uphill motion, there are three resistive force which is mainly acting on vehicle against the tractive force, that is rolling resistance, and another one is aerodynamic dragging, and another one is the acceleration resistance. So this acceleration resistance we have to understand in a different way. So we know that that is as per the Newton's first law. Okay, so it will be always want to be in the same state at which. So at what speed it is rotating. Okay, that will be vehicle will be want to be in the same thing only, unless otherwise external forces apply. So here, if I am applying a external force, that means deceleration or acceleration. The rate at which the vehicle moves, I want to increase further or I want to decrease further means to that also vehicle offers the resistance, very important resistance. So that also we should be able to understand first. That is called usually represented by the F to the base A, FA. That is acceleration resistance. So all the vehicles, whenever at particular speed it is operating, if you want to go above that speed or below, reduce the acceleration. Okay, there also it is offering. So these four forces we should be able to calculate. So after that, whatever may be the propulsion power developed, that will be converted to the rear and front wheels. Okay, rear and front wheels. So there the tractive force will be there. So summation of the tractive forces in the front and rear wheel minus whatever maybe the forces, four forces I said, rolling resistance and aerodynamic dragging and grading resistance and acceleration resistance. So this has to be subtracted. So resultant as a result of this only, my acceleration will be there. That is nothing but dv by dt. That also we have started. So here we have seen already. Here we have seen already. So in that we have first seen that what is the dv by dt, what is the acceleration, that is what here I mentioned. So this tractive force, summation of this tractive force is nothing but what is the tractive force due to the propulsion force we have generated, that is applied to the rear and front wheels. 1 minute. Okay. Pointer operation. Okay, this tractive force can be written as F T F FTF plus F T rear. So automatically the result of this tractive force is applied to the front and back tires, that is rear tires. This resistance, I told you, know, this resistance is a four part. Four part is there. That is nothing but the first two one is rolling resistance, rolling resistance, and second one is aerodynamic dragging. Aerodynamic dragging usually we will mention as the FW, and another one is grading resistance. This grading resistance I can put at plus or minus, because y means whenever the vehicle moves upward direction, this will be against the tractive force. But whenever the vehicle is moving in the downward direction, it is assisting. It is assisting automatically, since it is a minus sign, minus of minus, it will go to here. Okay. And another one is acceleration resistance. Another one is acceleration resistance. So this acceleration resistance, as I already told, so whenever we want to change the speed or whenever we want to increase or decrease, okay, the acceleration, the vehicle is offering a resistance, certain amount of resistance. That is purely depends on the aerodynamic dragging coefficient and all these things. So, okay, first we understood this. This is what acceleration. How much is the acceleration is equal to dv by dt, that is depends on the tractive force minus total resistive force divided by the mass of the vehicle. Here the delta is mass factor for converting a rotation inertia. It is a constant. Okay, rotating components to translation mass. So when we are applying this, we can able to calculate how much is the acceleration required. So in this now we are going to see all the resistive forces one by one. So very importantly, when okay, the moment produced by the forward shift of the resultant ground reaction force is called rolling resistance. The very first resistance is rolling resistance. That is due to the normal load that is acting on the center of the rolling wheel. Okay, and also it is due to the acceleration. Okay, that is due to the acceleration. So we can able to make it equal to what is the mass of the vehicle and acceleration constant and deformation of the tire, that is here. So here I convert p is equal to whatever the p is equal to mg and a. Okay, deformation of the tire I have taken here. Okay, so when you're taking the deformation of the tire, I can able to simply what is the dead weight of the vehicle, what is the acceleration constant 9.8 meter per second square, and also deformation of the tire. Deformation of the tire we can able to calculate previously. We know that how much is the deformation constant of tire. That is purely depends on the material of the tire, how much pressure, okay, road and all so many factors it depends. So if you know these things, I can able to calculate the very first. This is a torque. This is a force that is which is acting on the tire, which is again the tractive force. That is usually called as a rolling resistance. Okay, so we can able to calculate the particular rolling resistance by this. So automatically, in terms of force, that the rolling force, resistance force, which is acting on the vehicle against the tractive force is TR by R dynamic. So if you know the torque, how much torque, okay, rolling torque, which is pulling back the vehicle against the tractive force, if we divided it with the dynamic radius of the tire, I can able to calculate the force. Previously, we calculated TR, the particular torque, okay, rolling resistance torque in Newton meter, that is produced by the mass of the vehicle mga, that is gravitational force, and actually deformation of the tire. If you divide that with the dynamic radius of the tire, I can able to calculate the fr. That is nothing but, once again, uh, what is this rolling resistance coefficient of the vehicle multiplied by the multiplied by the normal load of the vehicle acting on the center in terms of Newton. So unit is Newton. So if you multiply these things, I can able to calculate FR. Okay, rolling resistance calculation is over. So still we can able to calculate the rolling resistance. This is for the normal one. This is for the normal one. Okay, normal plane movement. Whenever the vehicle is uh, uphill movement or downhill movement, we can able to get, in addition to that, what is the angle at which, with the plane, with the horizontal surface, what is the angle of the particular road it makes with that, we have to multiply with the cos alpha. Okay, so that is nothing but, we can, P is equal to nothing but mg. Okay, so that we have to multiply. That's what we have seen in the, yes, here we have seen, no. So whatever may be the velocity, it is try to make the vehicle movement. Okay, that is the whatever may be the dv by dt is an acceleration. But whereas this one, what is this one? Aerodynamic dragging. Aerodynamic dragging. What is this FA? This is nothing but acceleration resistance. Acceleration resistance, and whatever may be the rolling resistance is offered by the TR. TR. Because of the TR. Okay, so if you divided the particular TR divided by the dynamic radius of the vehicle, means it will give the FR, that is nothing but rolling resistance. So all these things are acting downwards, acting downwards. Okay, so I can show it to you. I can, yes. So here it's a FA is there, FA, that is nothing but acceleration distance. So this acceleration distance, when it will be coming to the picture, means whenever we try to change the acceleration, so this further acceleration, or we should decelerate the vehicle, so vehicle will oppose that particular cause. Okay. So whenever the uphill movement, in addition to that, gradient distance also coming to the picture. Okay. So this is when the vehicle is moving. Okay, when the vehicle is moving uphill or downhill, we have to take, okay, cos of the alpha. That is, alpha is nothing but, if you're taking horizontal, what is the angle at which the road makes with it? Okay, so that also we have to take into account. That's what I here in the PowerPoint I have mentioned. Okay, this is for normal plane operation, but whenever we are making uphill or downhill movement, there will be a certain angle it will make, that also coming to the picture. So that whatever will be the dead weight of the load in terms of Newton and Fr multiplied by the cos alpha will give the rolling resistance. Okay, so this is how we are calculating the rolling resistance. So the rolling resistance coefficient Fr is nothing but, we are calculating as a rolling resistance coefficient. That rolling resistance is a function of what is the tire material, what is the tire structure, tire temperature, tire inflation pressure, and the tire tread. Tread we are making geometry, and how much is the roughness that is offered by the road, what is the road material. Okay, so we know that cement concrete roads also is there, and other gravel and tar mixtures also with different material they are for laying the road they are used. Okay, depends on the road material. It is a function. So that's why this constant is they are clearly given for different roads. So considering tire materials, its constant value, a table is available. Okay, so that from that table we can able to take that. But whereas the remaining thing we have to calculate. Remaining thing we have to calculate. This constant we can take. So I can one a thumb rule, one formula is very much help us to identify. Suppose if we are not sure about whatever may be the function, so what's the tire material, tire structure, and etc. If you are not about sure about these things, because if I'm saying that road material, the vehicle need not to be always travel in a same road. Okay, so a different road structure it has to travel. Because of that, road roughness may be offered to the vehicle also may be varying. But whereas the remaining thing may be slightly dynamic in nature. That is especially a temperature. So tire temperature also maybe it is keep on varying only. So these things may be contributing and applying particular resistance is maybe erroneous value. So instead of that, there is one formula is there. So what is the vehicle speed? If you know that, so if you divide with the 160, okay, so it's a very big derivation. But as far as the derivation part, you need not to worry about that. So because as an open elective, you have to learn this subject with a qualitative treatment only, no any qualitative treatment. So what is what is knowing that is enough. So if you multiply that with the point not one, very easily we can able to get the resistance. Okay, so rolling resistance coefficient we can able to calculate. If you apply that in that formula, if you apply that in that formula, okay, with addition to the load and addition to the knowing the angle, we can able to calculate the rolling resistance. So the first part is our rolling resistance is calculated. The second one is the aerodynamic dragging. Okay, aerodynamic dragging. So that I told earlier. So this is purely depends on the density that is given by aerodynamic dragging. F to the base W is equal to 1 by 2 rho A to the base F C to the base D V square, where rho is density of air in kilogram per meter cube and AF is vehicle frontal area. So how much is the front area of the vehicle? Okay, that is playing a very important role. That is only is going to have a contact with the air velocity. Okay, with the particular velocity the vehicle is moving only, that area is only going to. So in that case, there will be very high pressure will be applied. Very high pressure will be applied. That is what I am shown in the second diagram last time. If you see in uphill movement of any vehicle that is making a alpha angle, okay, alpha angle, so automatically the front area, okay, that is going to have some high pressure. Okay, whenever the vehicle is moving, this area is having a very high pressure. That will be also continuing here in the front of the vehicle. Okay, after passing, whatever maybe the air it is passing. Okay, after the vehicle, here the low pressure area is there. So this also, whenever moving traction, this is also offering a resistance to the tractive force. So whenever I'm deciding to move the vehicle in uphill direction, so automatically I will generate considerable amount of propulsion power, okay, inside the vehicle. Okay, that is making a vehicle with a particular acceleration. That is nothing but with a velocity, it will move. So whenever the particular vehicle is moving, this is having this air, okay, in atmosphere where with a high pressure offering the particular. So that is what we call it as a aerodynamic dragging. So this force is acting against the tractive force. So that also should be taken into consideration. So automatically, based on the velocity. So that's what here very importantly velocity square. How much is the velocity square at the proportion? If velocity is less, okay, automatically the aerodynamic dragging resistance offered by the vehicle also will be less. When the velocity is very high, automatically that will lead to the particular vehicle has to face more aerodynamic dragging force. Okay, so obviously the density of the air also will be different in different place. Okay, so because of the some area, because of the moisture content and other things, so maybe density of the air will be slightly varying only. Okay, so remaining thing out of this tracking coefficient AF is allowing is not varying, but whereas the first and third parameter will be varying. So we should know what may be the maximum value that can offered by the density of air and vehicle speed. If you apply this, I can able to calculate this part also. So, in the process of identifying what are all the forces that is acting against the tractive force of the vehicle, first we have calculated the rolling resistance, the force by the rolling resistance. Okay, and second one is very easily we can calculate with the formula of what is the force which is offered by the aerodynamic drag. Okay, so that expression is called usually represented by FW. So for this, knowing this, we should know density of air, we should know vehicle frontal area, this is a fixed one, and vehicle speed, it's a varying one, and dragging coefficient. Okay, so that is what aerodynamic dragging coefficient. When I introduce the subject, so this should be how much low is possible, because this plays a very important role. So if a dragging coefficient usually if it is varying between 0.2 to 0.5 is good. Zero point 0.5 is, so if you see that in the expression already it is divided by 1 by 2. If it is once again multiplied by zero point 0.5 means it will make further reducing. Okay, so that's what I told Tesla model electrical vehicle. They come out with a aerodynamic design in a vehicle in such a way that the aerodynamic dragging coefficient is reduced as a 0.22. So if you see that already zero point 0.5, if it is multiplied by 0.22 means, so it will reduce whatever may be the aerodynamic force. So we can able to not only meet the requirement of aerodynamic tractive force by means of more tractive force, in addition to the design, with the design concept. If you have properly designed the vehicle with a more aerodynamic dragging, which can be reduced the dragging coefficient, okay, almost reach 0.2 also, we can able to meet out the power requirement. We need not to concentrate on more tractive force. By means of a design, this can be compensated or it can be reduced. Influence of the aerodynamic dragging force may be reduced. Okay, so the next one is very important thing is grading resistance. That's what I told. Whenever a vehicle goes up or down in a slope only, this is coming. Whenever a downward motion is there, grading resistance is added with the tractive force. Whenever upward motion is there, it will be against the tractive force. Okay, this force component upwards. So we can able to uh, take it. Okay, we can able to. We can able to calculate the particular one. Okay, we can able to calculate the roll. So automatically this rolling resistance and grading resistance taken together, because the already we know that what is the rolling resistance. Okay, so this grading resistance will be offering when the vehicle is moving. We cannot say always it is in the plane or horizontal movement. Sometimes it has to move upward and sometimes it may move downward. So we cannot keep on calculating for the tractive force effect. Okay, in resultant tractive force. Instead of that, we can able to take in is together. Okay, rolling resistance and grading resistance together. So there we can take. Okay, so whatever may be the mass and gravitational force and rolling resistance coefficient multiplied by, earlier we have taken cos alpha only, here we are taking the sin alpha also. Okay, we are taking the sin alpha also, so that will be called as a road resistance, simply called as a road resistance. So rolling resistance earlier we have calculated, so that is nothing but mg into fr cos alpha. In addition to that, mg fr sin alpha also is there, because we cannot always monitoring the vehicle movement, whether upward, downward, on plane. Okay, which make this is as a one. So automatically, instead of that, we can take. for calculation purpose, how much the tractive force has to be generated. So we are, for simplicity, we are taking because it is offering very, very less only. So automatically this rolling resistance and it is taken together along with the grading resistance that is called road resistance. So that road resistance can be calculated as this one. Okay. And another very important thing. So three forces we have calculated. The fourth important force which is acted against the tractive force is acceleration resistance. As I already told, so whenever during the movement of the vehicle, if you want to increase, or if you are applying the brake, for that vehicle is offering some force. So that is applying a brake means we can take it in the sense deceleration. Sudden deceleration will happen. So if you want to increase the speed also, acceleration will happen. So for both of this, vehicle is offering a resistance. That is what here. In addition to the driving resistance occurring in steady state motion, inertial forces also occur during acceleration and braking. So if you continuously moving in the same speed, v is constant. Means automatically dv by dt also will be zero. So you have to take it very clearly. When velocity is constant, always going 60 kilometer per hour, velocity is become constant. So now with respect to time, there is no any change. We are not changing that. Automatically, what will happen? The vehicle will not offer any acceleration distance. But if you keep on increasing the speed every second, there is a dv by dt value is there. It means automatically this will offer a resistance. That is why this force, when we are calculating this acceleration resistance, it is multiplied by dv by dt. If there is a dv by dt only, this force will be existing. Say, as I told earlier, if you're constantly moving, what will happen? There won't be any dv by dt. Automatically, the resistance will not come. Okay, so this force does not exist. So this force will be coming. Okay, whenever we are further increasing the acceleration or whenever we are applying a brake. So at that time, so this is also very important concept because this is directly whenever we are applying a braking, that is directly it will be against the tractive force in a very, very, very influencing manner. So we should have a knowledge on this also. So this can be calculated as a acceleration resistance force equal to mass of the vehicle plus what is the inertia of the rotational components, all the rotational components, summation of all the rotational components in kilogram per meter square divided by the dynamic radius of the tire, square of the dynamic radius of the tire multiplied by dv by dt. So, obviously we cannot say like any train, trains on the track. Trains on the track can be kept maybe for about whatever maybe the distance it's traveling. Maybe if you take the segment of the particular traveling history, I can able to keep the train always in 60 kilometer per hour, 100 kilometer per hour. But as far as the car and other vehicles, which is running on the road, nobody can assure, nobody can operate the particular vehicle in such a way that always it is. So definitely based on the traffic, based on the road condition, which may be dynamic in nature. Sometimes has to come to highway, roadway, cities, and so very often we have to go for acceleration. Very often we are going for braking. So this force is playing a very very vital role, and also against the tractive force. So that we have to take into consideration. Now, so I will show in addition to that, so this acceleration force, this acceleration force, rotation component is a function of the gear ratio. It's a function of the gear ratio because whenever I am doing acceleration, normally in a internal combustion engine vehicle, completely IC engine vehicles, what we are doing, we are changing the gears also. We are changing the gears also. But whereas which is completely eliminated in the electrical vehicle, but we are studying now in a conventional vehicle what is the vehicle mechanism. Okay, so when we are changing the gear also, so automatically whatever may be the propulsion power we have generated, that is remain same, but I have to convert that power in terms of torque and speed, different torque and speed. So automatically what will happen when we are moving in the first gear, the propulsion power is same. speed will be very less, torque will be very more. So in order to overcome the moment of inertia, or in order to vehicle to move, okay, with some speed, okay, we are giving. After that, we are changing the gear. So likewise, whenever we are going with a speed range, a large acceleration happen, we are changing the gear. Whenever we are applying braking also, okay, whenever we are applying a braking, so there is a one way of reducing speed, not addition to the applied braking. Drastically we are reducing the gear also from top gear to low gear. Okay, so this is also a very important function. Okay, so before that I want to know any clarification up to this first. All the four forces we have calculated. Any clarification? Hello, all of you there? Yes, any clarification? Any doubt? Any doubt?
No, sir.
You can proceed further. Okay. So here I'm showing, because this is a right time to show you the manual transmission video. So you can able to see. So irrespective of the constant propulsion power, we can able to alter the speed and the torque that is really applied to the wheel. That is a very big disadvantages of IC engine based vehicle, because here I have to produce the same propulsion power. So that's what I told. So when I'm introduced the particular electrical vehicle, in ideal stop, suppose for a signal I am stopping the vehicle, there the engine is keep on running. So that means there also it is keep on producing the required propulsion power, but it is not taken to the transmission. Okay, here by means of a neutral, putting the power transmission neutral, I am not taking, I am not allowing the power. But whereas in case of electrical motor, we can very easily, we can keep the motor, but without having rotation. That means the rotor part of the motor will not be rotating, but at the same time, it can offer very high torque. So that is a case not possible. Whenever vehicle moves only, we can able to realize the torque. But whereas in the even at the standstill, I can able to realize the very high torque in case of motor. Okay, so here I will explain. So here I told this is a function, especially this acceleration resistance. Okay, this acceleration resistance is not only it is offering a resistance to the attractive force, it is a component and it is a function of the gear ratio also. So we should know how in a conventional vehicle, the two internal combustion engine based vehicle, how the gear is working. Okay, how the gear is working. So there is a two different mechanisms there. Very first mechanism making a lot of noise. So that's why we have moved now. Nowhere that method is there. So here engine and transmission, and it is coupled to the differential. Sorry, it is coupled to the differential. Okay. So automatically this wheel moves. So whenever the vehicle in the move upward direction, same amount of propulsion power only is produced, but the speed is reduced. More torque. Why the more torque? Tractive force. So tractive force in this direction, whenever vehicle is moving upward direction, four different resistive force which is offering. When the normal plane, during the normal plane, okay, normal plane operation, horizontal operation, there won't be any much things. So this is how the power is transmitted to the gear. Usually, if N1 is more, okay, N2 divided equal to T2. This is how we are transmitting the power, same power with a different speed ratio. That is called gear ratio. If it is a input shaft, if it is output shaft, okay. So without having a mechanical coupling, I can able to transmit the power. So depends on the size of the particular gear wheel. So whereas first gear, even the propulsion unit is rotating in some speed, I can able to see. So I'll reverse. Okay, see, this is how it is rotating. So if in the first gear you can able to see. So power flow compared to the shaft and low speed output. In second gear, considerably I can able to increase the speed whenever it is mechanically coupled. Okay, actually it is coupled there. So this is called sliding mesh transmission. Sliding mesh transmission. Okay, So what is the problem with the sliding mesh transmission is here I'm moving the entire arrangement. I'm moving the arrangement. Whenever I want to change the gear, I'm moving this arrangement. So and moreover also whenever it is occupying the teeth, okay. So this is sliding. It is a sliding mesh. So it will create lot of noise and some complex operation also. So that is why we have in a existing way, that is in a conventional way, we have introduced in which gears also having rotation, all the gears also having rotation, but it is not tightly coupled, it is not contributing to the real rotation. I can able to identify only one gear in such a way that it can contribute to the particular power transmission. Okay, remaining and all maybe in ideal condition, I can able to, but that also can be rotated. So in that case, I am not using a sliding mesh transmission. We'll see how it is working. So this is how. So whatever may be the power generated, it is applied to the wheels. Okay, powertrain. Here powertrain is applied to. This is coupled to the differential. So this is the way it is working. So now this is what. So I have to move. See, I have to move. So this is making very big. So next we are going for that constant mesh transmission. Here it is mesh. Here is a mesh. It is not going to slide. It is going to give a constant ones. Instead of that, I am providing a clearance for loose connection in all the gears, all the three gears arrangement. I am providing. So this is a power drain which is coupled to the differential. Here I am providing a clearance for loose connection. So automatically, even though this is coupled, this gear arrangement only will be rotating, but the power will not be transferred to the shaft, or the actual effect will not be transmitted to the shaft unless otherwise there is a provision for tight arrangement. Okay, that tight arrangement only I am giving that. Okay, here. So this is a provision. So here, using a hypothetical connector, which gear I want to engage, that is having connected, that is making tight connection using a hypothetical connector. So automatically, even though this first and second is rotating, real power transmission which is connected. So you see that first gear means through that hypothetical connector, where it is connected only it is having. So hypothetical connector now it is connected to second gear. So automatically, if you see that the input speed by output speed is 2.2. Okay, earlier it was high. Okay, now it is still reduced in third gear input output speed. Now using a hypothetical. So without having a sliding mesh, without having a, I'm using a constant mesh transmission. Constant mesh transmission. This is what happening in the fourth gear. So automatically, okay, this sliding, okay, will not be there. It is a constant mesh transmission. So this is repeating once again. Okay, so in order to effectively use that, there will be a two different component that is used. One is a synchronizer cone teeth, okay, which is having a friction cone and teeth, and another one. Okay, so another one also is there, that is a connected, which making the connected together. So that is sleeve. Okay, on sleeve arrangement. On sleeve arrangement. So this can be moved in this direction. So by that we can it can able to couple, that is whichever the gear is loosely connected, I can able to very make it as very tightly connected, okay, by means of this sleeve movement. This sleeve movement only is controlled by the uh, okay, if you is able to see the different speed, okay, what is the red part and what is the sleeve rotating at a different speed. And another important second one is the synchronizer ring. This synchronizer ring helping us to synchronize. So whenever I'm moving the clutch, okay, pressing the clutch, I'm changing the gear. So if these arrangements were attached with the okay gear wheels, I can able to do a very smooth manner of operation of gear. Okay, that is a power transmission. Okay, so I can able to use it for two different gears. So first and second gear, there's one arrangement, and for third and fourth gear, one arrangement. Of course, for the reverse gear, I can have one arrangement. Okay, put together, we can able to see. put together, we can able to see that. Synchronizer ring and sleeve. Whenever it is going to that side, it will not rotate. Whenever it is connected to synchronizer, this is out. So I can able to make this gear operate when the sleeve is coming here, and whenever I can make able to change it to second gear by means of synchronizer ring connected to this sleeve. If these are connected to the gear changing arrangement, I can able to show here from fourth gear, fourth to third. Okay, so likewise neutral. So for this one, first and second gear. Okay, by this arrangement, okay, so and another the same way for a reverse gear. Okay, first gear, second, third, fifth, reverse gear. So for the reverse gear, they have followed one different arrangement. Whatever may be the input, there is a one wheel is there, which rotate output wheel rotates in the opposite direction. If you see that, okay, input is an ideal gear which is making it in the output. So automatically, when the reverse gear is applied, so input is in a one direction, output in an other direction, opposite direction. This is how a manual transmission. So this automatic, not now only after electric coming only automatic transmission and all coming to the picture. This is how this system is working. Why I have introduced here means, so here especially the acceleration resistance, it is purely depends on when we are going to make the vehicle further acceleration or when we are moving the when we are braking the vehicle. So at the two instance only. So this is going to be very often happen. So whenever this operation is associated with the existing IC engine, that is purely depends on the way we are changing the gears also. So we should know how the manual transmission operations happen. So this is how we are calculating that. Here the rotational inertia constant is multiplied by the mass and change in the particular. So this is once again in a different form we understood the acceleration distance. Now all the resistive force, okay, total driving resistance we are calculated, which is acting as a against the tractive force. So why we are all calculating is in order to calculate the tractive force, how much the traction force is required. Because if we are applying a force which beyond this, after satisfying all these things, after nullifying these things only, the resultant force only is going to help us. In addition to that, another one is mass, okay, which is divided by the tractive force, okay, mass. Based on that only I can able to identify the acceleration, that is nothing but dv by dt. So in this case, so in this equation, okay, f resistance, I have substituted all the calculated values. If you see all the calculated values I have substituted, okay, so automatically the power which is required to move the vehicle, power required to move attractive force is whatever may be the resistive force multiplied by the velocity of the vehicle. Okay, so then only I can able to do that. So in any dynamic equation, okay, in a longitudinal direction, the major external forces acting on two axle vehicle include that rolling resistance, that is of the front and rear tire, and another one is represented with rolling resistance. We can also represent the same with the TRF and TRR, and aerodynamic dragging, grade clamping resistance, and acceleration resistance. Of course, the grade clamping resistance we clubbed with the rolling resistance and clubbed together, and we call it as a, what is that, road resistance we call it as a. But that for the calculation purpose we are taking all as a different one. So finally this is my dynamic equation of the vehicle motion. Mass of the vehicle multiplied by the acceleration. Okay, F is equal to ma. A is dv by dt is equal to the tractive force which is acting on the front and the rear tire minus the resistive forces acting on the entire wheel. Okay, rear wheel and also front wheel, and due to the aerodynamic dragging and due to the grading resistance and due to the acceleration resistance. If you are considering, if you are calculating all these things, if you substitute that, this is the dynamic equation. Okay, I think you are all able to understand the completely a small derivation. As I already told, for you it is a qualitative treatment only. So in order to understand, I just recollect. In order to understand, we have to recollect all the three Newton's law of motion. What is the first law? What is the second law? What is the third law? Then we have to go for a drawing. So what are all the things? Okay, when the vehicle is moving uphill direction, if a velocity, okay, we are applying, what are all the opposite forces that can be acting on the wheel? Okay, that we have to calculate it. So that we are calculated as a different forces we are calculated. Okay, totally we are identified four forces. So this is a generalized equation for the acceleration. So now we have to calculate all the individual resistive forces, calculate the individual resistive forces separately. So that's what we have done. Okay, then we are substituted all the expressions calculated. Okay, in the equation, I can able to calculate the what is the dynamic equation of the motion along the longitudinal direction. This is what the vehicle dynamics. Okay, any clarification up to this? Any clarifications? No. Shall we proceed further? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So remaining things now we are important the important concept, that is important equations, some formulas concept of this unit is over. Okay, now in real time, on real time, if you compare, so now our aim is to not to study internal combustion engine, or our aim is to not to study the existing automobiles. Why we are all recollected means, what is the vehicle mechanism? So why this much of energy is needed? Is it only to propel the vehicle without considering all the things? So when you are going for any designing of electrical vehicle, so very importantly, these four important parameters you have to take in order to give you the knowledge only. But as far as electrical vehicle is concerned, okay, it is having a very good advantages over that. So that's what we already decided here using a calculation by means of a economic thing. Okay, I have calculated. I have taken a Mahindra Verito model, which is a price is 10.5 lakhs, which is having a battery, okay, which need to be fully charging. For full charge of the particular battery, it will consume 18 units, 18.55 units. If you have fully charged the vehicle, that is nothing but now you are all understood the thing. Now I term that SOC, state of charge. That you call SOC. If it is 100%, okay, from the drained battery to full charge, it consumes 18.55 unit. So after that, it can able to travel. If I'm allowed to allow the vehicle, okay, okay, running, it goes up to 140 kilometers. 140 kilometers. So I am assuming per unit cost is 4.75 rupees. Okay, 4.75 rupees if I'm costing means. So for traveling 140 kilometer in electrical vehicle, it will take 88 rupees. I have taken another one, internal combustion engine vehicle is there. Okay, that is I am taking that. That is petrol Honda Amaze model, which is having a mileage of 17 kilometer per liter. Okay, 17 kilometer per liter. So for the same 140 kilometer, if I have to travel with the 17 kilometer per liter mileage, I need 8.23 liters. Okay, so averagely I put 83 rupees. Now every day it is varying. Okay, see if you put that, you see I have to spend 683 rupees. But whereas it can be accomplished with the 88 rupees with a clean energy without having any pollution. Maybe I'm talking about from charging it to discharging it. So I'm charging it my home or charging station. I'm using it a vehicle, okay, commuter vehicle in a society, in a area where I'm living. I'm going and coming. So here there is no any pollution is caused. Okay, starting from charging to okay completely utilizing. So but whereas here in addition to the 683, definitely it will contribute CO2 to the pollution. Okay, so now let us see a payback period. So that is very important because these are all the things I want to convey to you beyond the content of the syllabus. Beyond the content of the syllabus. So payback analysis. If you see the payback analysis, what is the difference between the vehicle cost? Okay, 1 lakh rupees. So volume of petrol for 1 lakh rupees is by using 1 lakh rupee. If I'm assuming that 83 rupees per liter means I can able to buy 1250 liters. So if a 17 kilometer per liter is given, so mileage with the particular 1250 liters is 2000 21,250 kilometer I can able to travel. So average distance driven per year is, if I'm assuming 11,000 kilometer, within a 1.9 years, okay, 1.9 years, I can able to get back get back the money. Okay, get back the money if I bought electrical vehicle. Okay, so this is the way we have to understand. So if we compare to the any other new implementation, say for example, every institution very often they will used to do energy auditing. Energy audit. As a result of energy auditing, they will find so many appliances or devices which consumes more energy, whereas there are less specifications available, less consumption devices are available. So, as a suggestion of energy audit, they will suggest to replace these components. Mainly, I can tell one example that we are all used earlier incandescent lamps. Okay, yellow color. Okay, so incandescent lamps. So that is very less cost. Maybe with the 10 rupees we can able to get. But if you see that it is given rated as a 40 watts. So main purpose of any lamp is to give the illumination, that is light only. But that lamp what will do? Equal to that, it will produce heat also. So maybe after burning off, after using of 1 hour incandescent lamp, if you want to take it from the holder, okay, you have to use a proper cloth or proper insulation, heat insulation methods only. So otherwise, it may be burning or that much heat will be produced. So instead of that, we are suggesting for a LED lamp. Okay, same light which can be achieved with a 20 watts, whereas 40 watts bulb. So it means that around 20 watts is wasted as a heat. Already we are all talking about global warming, heat is contributed to the atmosphere. So that is a way. So if you want to replace that, we have to calculate the payback period also. The same way, whenever we want to go from the IC engine vehicles to electrical vehicles, there also we should know what will be the payback period. So that means what is the first here I am talking about the difference in amount. So in terms of difference in amount, if I'm using electrical vehicle within 2 years, I can able to. So you definitely you know that every vehicle is having average around 15 to 20 years of life period. So you can able to remaining 13 to 15 years. Okay, we can enjoy the benefit of moved to the particular. This is for your understanding. I'm saying. Okay. Apart from that, you are studying a introduction to electrical vehicle. You should know what are all the commercially available electrical vehicles also. Okay. So what is the kilometer? One time if I'm charging the fully charge the battery, how much kilometer I can tell. So these are all the information also. So you should know as a student studying electrical vehicle. So in US, okay, there is a very good model now recently, Tesla Model S, they have released, which can go three different ranges they have used. So advanced models like that they have used. So 417 kilometer, 507 kilometer, 539 kilometers. Okay, with a single charging. Tesla Model X is a slightly next version, okay, variant, which is having a 383 different variants also is there, 381, 465, 475 kilometer. And another one is Jaguar I-Pace and Tesla Model 3. Tesla Model 3, okay, 354 or two variants as well. Chevy Bolt, 383 kilometer. This kilometer is meant for each time I'm charging, fully charge the batteries. Renault ZOE only in Europe and Nissan Leaf. That's what I told. So in India also recently Among the electrical vehicles, this Nissan Leaf contributed 61% of the electrical vehicles in the Indian market is Nissan Leaf, which is having a considerably very good range, that is 240 kilometer per charge. Okay, so and another one is Volkswagen e-Golf, Hyundai, okay, and Kia Soul, Mahindra E2O, Mahindra E-Verito. So we have compared the mileage. Okay, we have compared the payback period for this Mahindra E-Verito only, E2O only. But if you compare with other Nissan Leaf and all, still we can able to get the payback period is very very less only. So this is a way we have to understand. So electrical vehicle also not in a fixed range of variations available. So there are so because what is the difference between Mahindra E Verito and if you taken a Nissan Leaf means there's a huge changes in the technology, especially starting from a motor and type of battery. Okay, so whether it is a fractional rated lithium ion batteries, so are so many small lithium ion battery pack. Okay, they are all parallel connected. Starting from the design, aerodynamic dragging design, weight, dead weight of the vehicle, space, they are utilized in so many ways. Okay, Nissan Leaf is having a superiority over than Mahindra version E2O or E-Vector. Okay, this is the way you have to understand. So, and the next one is we are talking about hybrid electrical vehicle also. So the hybrid, as I earlier told, hybrid electrical vehicle is can contribute immediately economic benefit because so if you are talking about a considerable amount of power is wasted in the ideal stops, okay, and the braking as well as during the starting of the vehicle, if you're taken to consider, okay, this can be saved very well. It is advised that we can move to a hybrid electrical vehicle because even though a hybridization percentage is very very less, okay, 20 to 30 percentage only, it is contributing some 15 percentage of economics, okay, fuel economic. Okay, so that means 50 percentage what, whereas invest additionally even using a retrofitting concept, retrofitting concept, we can able to convert existing internal combustion engine vehicle to a hybrid electric vehicle to some extent if we are hybridization, to go for hybridization. So because of that, minimum if you go for 10 to 15 percentage, I can able to get 15 percentage economically. If you go for 30 percentage, I can go for 20 percentage of economic fuel economy. That means percentage of efficiency can be improved. So these are all the currently available in the markets. Okay, Maruti Suzuki Ertiga, SHVS, Honda Accord, and Toyota Camry Hybrid, Mahindra Scorpio, okay, Intelli Hybrid, Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, SHVS. These are all the hybrid vehicle varieties were available now in the market. So this is I already told that no longer we are going to stick on this hybrid electrical vehicle because our aim is, okay, whether it's a fan, a fast adoption and manufacturing electrical vehicle, okay, as per the government of India. So by the year 2030, so what is a global goal? Okay, globally we are having a goal that by the year 2030, at least 30 percentage of the new vehicles in the market by the year 2030 should be from the electrical, pure electrical vehicle. So by the year 2045, it should reach 55 percentage. With that goal only, government of India also is working. So apart from the technical concepts, apart from the technical thing, okay, so these things also we should have currently keep it in mind. Okay, so I think with that I'm stopping. With that I'm stopping. Tomorrow we will see power and energy calculations and all. Any clarification you can ask. Now it's time for discussion. Okay,
Also clear, sir. Clear, clear.
clear. Okay. Others mining. How many students are today mining? All four students came.
Sir, only one, sir.
Why? What about others? Yeah, they are losing attendance. Moreover, they have to write test. Why? Almost 6 hours. Today is the seventh class. Last week some problem is there. Up to first 3 hours, there were some problem. There was some problem in adding you. But what happened today? Only one joined.
Sir,
You have
Sir, I'll
informed?
inform to them, sir.
Yeah,
I'll
please
inform,
do it.
sir.
Yeah. Through because I already communicated to our department coordinator that the students only one student is came. So remaining students not at whether they know it or not, I don't know. Because if you are belongs to our department, very easily we can communicate. Okay, so you take responsibility. Who is speaking Tamil? Tamil Selvan.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Tamil Selvan. You just please inform others, because they are losing attendance also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir, for
Right.
CAT exam, up to what we have to study? When up to 2 days or when the CAT attempt
Up to
before?
2 days. Uh, up to 2 days. I will send the notes also.
Okay, okay, sir. Up to 2 days.
Okay.
Okay.
Up to 2 days class. That's all. Because the remaining thing and all, I'm going to just what I say in terms of understanding only the remaining 2 classes are going to be there. Up to 2 days class only. I already sent 2 notes, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
From that only I will ask questions.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. If any clarification, if you want to still some simplified form and all, you can ask me. If possible, I will arrange. Okay. Today's class also I convert it to your notes and I will send it to you. Up to today's class, only CAT examination will be. Actually, this is because CAT means 2 hours we have to conduct, no? But through online 1 hour only we can conduct. That's why they conducted as a unit-wise test. Unit 1, Unit 2.
Okay, so in multiple choice question, or we have to write in A4 sheet and I have to upload like that, or
That's what is still not a clear. We are also not a clear. We only got the information that we have to conduct unit test, but still that things are not at, clearly informed. Once we reach, maybe today or tomorrow they will tell. I will forward the details to you.
okay, okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, okay. We'll go attendance. Okay. Megrove, all of you unmute. Vasant Kumar, Vasant
Present, sir.
Kumar, Amal, Amal
Present, sir.
Festo, Tamil Selvan,
Yes, sir.
Jagannathan, absent. Kevin Raj, Balachandar,
Present, sir.
Prem, Prem. So those who are given attendance, you can mute your mic. Prem, Steve Thompson, Venu Aravind,
Present, sir.
Vignesh, or Vignesh, Vijay, P. Vijay, Yashwant, Vikram Selva Ganesh, Abhishek, Abhishek Ramesh, Anas Mohammed,
Sir,
Present,
sir,
sir.
group one.
Tejas,
Present, sir.
Vijit Vijay,
Present, sir.
Gogul,
Present, sir.
Dorivaldo,
180.
Dorivaldo,
Present, sir. Present, sir.
Alex,
Yes, sir.
Gautam,
Sir, Prem Kumar present, sir.
Prem,
Present, sir.
yes, Prem, Prem is
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
okay.
Yes, sir,
Gautam,
present, sir.
Gautam,
Yes, sir.
Joy, Josephine, Kevin Smith,
Yes, sir.
Lokesh Babu, Pratap, Pratap, Pratap is there. I think he mentioned something. Pradyush also not here. Vishal,
Yes, sir.
okay. Okay, thank you. We'll meet tomorrow. Thank
Sir, sir. Sir, I
you.
have
Yeah,
doubt.
yes,
Sir,
yes.
how do I get those notes, sir? Is there any WhatsApp group out there, sir?
Yeah, WhatsApp group are there. I think already I'll put it in my now once again this conversation. I'll
So who are all not joined in WhatsApp, say in line. I will send the WhatsApp link in chat box.
yes, I forwarded yesterday that link also to your members. I think those who are given numbers. Still, if you are not able to get that, means you please I'll given one form. Okay, in that you can submit your details. We will try to add.
Okay, sir.
Through that only already we started sending. Okay, through chat box I send Vikram Silvaganation also. He has given
WhatsApp, yeah, WhatsApp group.
WhatsApp link. If
Yeah,
you
WhatsApp
click
group
that
link.
link, you can straight away you have to accept and you can join that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, till last week we have some problem login issues, sir.
Yes.
In
Yes.
iCampus, sir.
Yes.
That's why we can't able to attend the class.
Yeah, that already Camu people also know because first all 4 departments they added no. When they added, try to add 5, so there is a technical fault. That will be considered. That attendance and all they will take it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Megroof, what's the problem? Yeah, what's question? Megroof? Megroof? Yeah, yes. இல்ல கேட்கல சரியா ஹலோ மெக்ரூஃப் no issue I think your mic is muted Megroof okay right okay thank you